In this class, we'll learn how to turn verbs into nouns and how to modify nouns with verbs. First of all, in Korean, there are 3 ways to turn verbs into nouns, and what we are going to learn today is the most used. In English grammar, this form is also called gerund form. For example, if you turn the verb to go into a noun, it becomes going. The rules are simple. You just need to add 는것 to the verb stem. For example, the verb 먹다 becomes the noun 먹는 것 and 가다 becomes 가는 것. Should we take a look at how it's used? The sentence I like eating can be expressed as 저는 먹는 것을 좋아해요. But with this grammar, the expressions a person who eats, a dish which I eat can also be used. This word 것, which means thing, can be replaced with the word 사람, which means person, or the word 요리, which means dish. For example, a person who eats is 먹는 사람, and a dish which I eat is 먹는 요리. In this case, these forms of words which classify as verbs grammatically are called a noun modifier in English. This is the part where a lot of students get confused. This is because in 먹는 사람, the word 사람 has a role of the subject. However, in 먹는 음식, 음식 is a role of the object. In English, you can differentiate using who or which, but in Korean, since we don't get any hints like those, we have to see the context and figure it out carefully. Lastly, there is something to be wary of. 먹는 요리 can have a subject attached as in English to be expressed as 제가 먹는 음식. This part, 제가 먹는, makes it a sentence that has a verb and a subject. Sometimes students incorrectly translate 제가 먹는 요리 as I eat a dish because 제가 is the subject and 먹는 is the verb. But 제가 먹는 is the noun modifier and 요리 is a noun, so be careful. This means that the beginning of a phrase can become really long, right? For example, you could use the following expression. A dish I eat often with my parents at night at home. 제가 집에서 저녁에 부모님과 자주 먹는 요리. In English, dish, which means 요리, is at the very front of the sentence, but in Korean, it's all the way at the end. This might make it feel a little harder. You can also make the following sentences. 겨울에 가끔 스키장에서 스노우보드를 타는 것이 재미있어요. Which in English means it's fun to go snowboarding often on the slopes in winter. But when translated, it's actually snowboarding often on the slopes in winter is fun. Actually, the prior translation might be a little awkward. In English, when you say, I sometimes enjoy going snowboarding on the slopes in winter, the Korean expression is probably the closest translation. The ways to communicate in English and Korean are very different, right? It's because in Korean, there are many cases in which we don't use the subject in our expression, and also these noun modifiers can be used as subordinate sentences. Don't be scared. In the early stages of your Korean studies, you may need to translate your expressions into English initially, but as the sentences become longer, translating into English will only make it more awkward. So try your best to understand how it's written in Korean. Shall we take a look at more examples? 게임을 하는 것, 친구들과 책을 읽는 것, 축구를 하는 사람, 아침에 마시는 커피, 피아노를 치는 것이 어려워요. 아침에 항상 커피를 마시는 것을 좋아해요. Next, shall we learn about the past and future forms? For the past form, if the verb stem ends with a consonant, we attach 은, and if it ends with a vowel, we just have to add the character 니은. For example, 먹은 사람 is someone who ate, and 간 사람 is someone who went. And if got is used with the past form, then it means an object. For example, 먹는 것 has the meanings of eating and something I eat, but 먹은 것 can only be translated to something I ate. How do we make future forms? If the verb stem ends in a consonant, we attach 을, and if in a vowel, we add 릴. For example, 먹을 사람 is someone who will eat, and 갈 사람 is someone who will go. Also, 먹을 것 means something I will eat. 달리기를 한 사람, 받은 메시지, 어제 탄 스키, 요가를 할 사람. 내일 메시지를 받을 사람은 톰 씨예요. 다음 주에 탈 자전거가 예뻐요. We'll practice more in the next lesson with listening examples. See you next time.